With the Lingus College Football Classic having its third iteration this weekend, with number 10 Florida State taking on Georgia Tech, and the success the game has been for the Irish economy over the past few years, I thought it would be fun to look back at another series of games that were played on foreign soil, the Sydney Cup. The Sydney Cup had two iterations in 2016 and 2017 and was played in Sydney, Australia. The game was viewed as a major success by many, but after 2017, it would never return. This is the story of the Sydney Cup. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know which country you want to see host a college football game down the line in the comment section below. Before the Sydney Cup was played back in 2016, the last time a college football game was played in the country of Australia occurred in 1987 when BYU outlasted a 1-11 Colorado State team in a 30-26 victory that was seen by only 7,652 fans in Melbourne. Since the late 80s, American football and American culture in general would become more and more popular in Australia. The game known as the gridiron in Australia looked to take the next step forward to grow the game in the country, and this seemed like a perfect way. Colin Scott would bring American football to Australia, becoming the first person to ever earn a football scholarship in the States when he joined Hawaii in 1983 after impressing in rugby. He became the second Australian-born player to ever play in the NFL as well. He would become an ambassador for the game of football in Australia, a game he fell in love with. Scott hoped to showcase his country, but also expose the game to Australians as well. According to Scott in 2015, over 30 million Americans watched the first game. Scott explained why he wanted to bring football to Sydney, saying, "There has been an eruption in the last 5 to 10 years. Nintendo, watching Fox Sports, and social media have absolutely captivated the imagination of Australians. We're absolutely eating and breathing NBA, NFL, you name it. We've just fallen in love with American culture and American sports. And the world has shrunk. We really believe in the wave of interest in the gridiron. We can put a great show on, starting with college football and hopefully make it an annual event or at least bring the NFL down under. It's exciting." He also went on to explain why Australians call American football the gridiron, saying, "We do call it the gridiron. We've got 4 football codes. It's amazing. It has to differentiate because soccer likes to call themselves football, and then rugby league and rugby union. They all call themselves football or footy. So it probably gets a bit confusing with 4 different codes. At least it differentiates it from calling it football again. This wasn't the first time college football was being played outside the United States. Over the 140-year history of the game, countries ranging from Italy to Ireland to Tanzania all got in on the action. The game was expected to be huge in Australia, with over 65,000 fans predicted for the matchup between Cal and Hawaii. Both schools were expected to make a ton of money off the game as well. Cal was guaranteed a 7-figure paycheck to make the 28-hour round trip, while Hawaii was expected to make a large sum of money as well, but there was no real clarifications on how much. The game also went a long way in exposing the two programs to over 23 million people. This meant exposing their brand to prospective fans, prospective students, and just in front of the world as a whole. It also provided the schools an advantage when recruiting Oceania players like punters in Australia and the island of Samoa. It also gave Max Hendry a homecoming welcome, as the Hawaii defensive lineman was originally from Australia. It was truly expected to be a special event. Cal would take a 17-14 lead into the second quarter, before running away with the game, going up 34-14 at halftime and winning 51-31. The game would be viewed as a success, with over 60,000 fans attending the game, leading to a lot of people hoping Australia would get an NFL game down under. The University of Hawaii Athletic Director, David Matlin, said the NFL was watching the event closely, believed a competitive fixture is on the cards for Sydney. He explained, "Obviously the NFL are paying attention to this. I think it's a possibility. I think you have the facilities and the sports enthusiasts, so it's a really good place for sporting events." Marlin was blown away by how passionate the Sydney crowd was for the game and felt it was an amazing cultural experience for his players. He hoped there would be more games played in Sydney and hoped Hawaii would be one of those participants due to its proximity to Australia. Cal head coach Sonny Dykes spoke on the game, saying, "I'm certain this won't be the only one of this. There will probably be more college teams coming over because it makes so much sense on so many different levels, and it's such a great opportunity to experience something that's so different and special. I would anticipate this becoming an annual event." The game would return for a second year when Rice and Stanford played each other down under in Sydney the following year. They had tailgate parties set up, a frat party section innovative fan engagement, and American-themed food for the game. There are also some new technologies tested out at the game, one of which was a live polling feature for fans to participate in different activities. The food featured at the second year of the event included the Long Super Dog, which sold out extremely quickly, an all-you-can-eat stand, as well as an American-style burger, pizza, and loaded hot dogs, which were created exclusively by the stadium. This game would see half the crowd appear as compared to the year before, with only 31,000 fans in attendance, and the game was not much better as Stanford destroyed Rice by a score of 62-7, behind Bryce Love's 180 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Along with the game not being very competitive, it also happened to be played the same day and during the same time period as the Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. Yet while there would be half the crowd compared to the first year of the matchup, many still felt the game was a success. Destination NSW told ESPN back in 2017, New South Wales was first to bring college football to Australia, and the first 2 Sydney Cup matches were hugely successful. There is so much appetite for the skill and spectacle of US sports in NSW, with the 2014 Major League Baseball season opener, 2016 and 2017 college football Sydney Cups, and 2016 Ice Hockey Classic bringing more than 66,000 overnight visitors to Sydney, injecting over $50.7 million into the local visitor economy. Destination NSW continues to engage with sports teams, leagues, and promoters around the world to secure the biggest and best sports events for Sydney and regional NSW, including exploring future opportunities for college football Sydney Cup. Like Sonny Dykes the year before, Stanford head coach David Shaw was impressed with the event, saying, "I can't say enough about the experience. It was just awesome. I wouldn't change the experience for the world. It was outstanding for everybody." He was open to having Stanford play down under once again in the future, saying, "I think the experience for our guys goes beyond football, and to go to the University of Sydney, seeing our players connect with not just rugby players, but other people who play American football in another country, being able to talk and communicate was really cool. It was awesome." The Pac-12 conference was also open to sending more teams down under, with Commissioner Larry Scott saying, "Yeah, we've gotten a great reaction to some of our international initiatives. Basketball, we've been playing a regular Pac-12 China game now for a few years, featuring a Pac-12 team against a non-conference opponent to kick off the basketball season. As he mentioned, we've had some successful football games in Australia. Based on the reaction from our schools, the experience for the student athletes has been incredible. Our coaches have responded well, and they've asked us to do more of that. So yeah, there's a plan in the works to have some more football games overseas in the coming years." Things seem to be on the right track, but then out of nowhere, the game just disappeared. I searched all over the internet trying to find out why it did not return in 2018, but there was no real answer. ABC News San Francisco wrote back in 2018, "Mystery surrounds the future of the Sydney Cup college football game after the event disappeared without a trace ahead of the 2018 season. There was no announcement made by the organizers, ESPN, or the Pac-12. I think Week 0 matchups in different countries are a super fun thing because it allows fans and players to experience new places and show off the game of college football to more people. With the success the Aer Lingus Classic has found over the past few years, I would not be surprised if there are more games played on foreign soil, especially with the new exception for teams to play in Week 0 if they have a game on foreign soil. Maybe we see the return of the Sydney Cup, or maybe we see a game in another country. What do you think? What country do you want to see host a college football game? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.